Hello viewers, one more time you're welcome to your business program NTA2 Business Matters. My name is Stephen Ipalebo Lawson. The Nigerian economy demands a lot of players in it in order for us to be able to address the unemployment issue. And I'm glad that this week's edition we're going to explore another aspect of an industry that can help us bridge that gap. Let us have a business update. As is our culture and tradition here on Business Matters, we invite a distinguished guest to help us do justice to the topic of the day. And today we are looking at interior and exterior designing as a lucrative business venture. And my guest is a woman who has distinguished herself in various fields such as real estate business, interior and exterior designing, remodeling and decoration, public speaking, counseling and teaching the word of God. She's a graduate of the Lagos State University and currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of Crowning Favors Limited, a growing interior exterior designing and decoration company in the heart of Lagos here in Nigeria. She's an advocate for teens and singles, as a matter of fact, and she's a convener of the Oasis of Favor Foundation. She's also the founder of the Global Harvest and Network, a vibrant and Christ-centered community that connects Christians from diverse backgrounds in fellowship and spiritual support. Happily married with children. I'm talking about no other person than Mrs. Flora Eyimife. How are you, madam?
Thank you.
You're welcome to Business Matters.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
You see, one of the things I'm so excited about Nigeria is the fact that there's so many things about us that we don't know. I mean, behind the camera, you and I were saying that we're both Lagosians. Yeah. I mean, I was born in Lagos, you were born in Lagos. Exactly. And I tell you that my Yoruba name is actually Oluwafemi. And what is yours?
My Yoruba name is Oluwakemi.
I mean, Lagos has been good to you. Lagos has been good to us.
Very much.
And then your business is obviously here. And then we're looking at the interior, exterior business, so to speak.
Yeah.
What we imagine, what does that particular industry entail? Is it something that anybody can come up to be able to engage in, or is something that has to go through a lot of professional processes in order for you to be able to deliver to the client?
Oh, yes. Anybody who is creative can come on board because it requires a lot of skills and creativity. So it's not something that just anybody can dive into. Apart from the fact that you have to be trained, you also have to have had the desire to, to do something outside the box, something beyond what is ordinary. So it requires a lot of skill and also requires creativity.
Well, we imagine that the interior or exterior design business or decor business actually is a female-centric industry. It's something that the women have taken over. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, the reason why it looks like that, it's not that men are not creative. Men are actually creative.
We are.
But we women, I will look at it as if we are more on the creative side when it comes to interior decoration and designing than men.
Okay.
Because we are wired in different ways, and we are wired to multitask and to do some things that men who ordinarily may not want to dive into. So that's why it looks like women nowadays are diving into it much more than men.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not as if men can do it. Men can. A lot of men actually are in the industry.
Fantastic.
But at the same time, we have a lot of women who are also going into it.
Now, what we imagine that such an industry itself perhaps may not employ as many people as one we imagine. The unemployment rate in Nigeria right now is a little bit scary. If you say that you are looking at the interior decor's contribution to the economy, how will you paint that?
Oh, it to be, if you say it is not contributing to the GDP of Nigeria as an economy, I think that is not a true statement.
Okay.
Because right now, the GDP of Nigeria, or the economy of Nigeria today, is well driven by this industry.
How so?
Yeah, because about more than 30 billion is realized annually from this.
Fantastic.
venture. More than 30 billion. In fact, you can look at it at least 10 times more. Because a lot of jobs that you think are not available are actually available in that industry.
Okay.
We have, it's all about teamwork.
True. True.
It's about teamwork, and you see a lot of people out there who do not even have the connection, the right connections, and the right places to go to connect to get their jobs exposed, are being exposed. For instance, I told you, like I said, we work like a team. We have we have carpenters.
Okay.
We have plumbers.
Fantastic.
We have electrical engineers. We have structural engineers. We have civil engineers.
Wow.
We have architects.
As interior decors.
Oh yes, because
Okay.
not just interior decor, interior designing.
Okay, pardon me. Interior designing.
Interior designing is
they are
different from interior decoration.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Okay. What's the distinguishing elements between the two of them?
Yeah, interior designing is looking at a space and creating something, remodeling and creating something out of that space that is functional and at the same time pleasing to the eyes. You take a space, for instance, and you look at it and you look at, what can I do with this space?
Does that sound more like architecturing or something, or perhaps
it's designing?
Okay.
You can say architects do more than that, because what we do is not from the scratch.
Okay. It's already a built up space.
There's a structure already.
Structure on ground.
There's a structure on ground, and then what you're doing is trying to remodel or renovate it or complete it, because there are some projects that are not, they are carcass. We call them carcass. So you have some clients that just buy carcass, and then they want it finished.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And then we also have some clients who have existing houses that want it renovated.
Does the renovating, for example, pardon me, if you look at a real estate, for example, a house which perhaps may be dilapidated or was within a structure, will you say that it's also part of the responsibility or the task of an interior designer to actually work on even the exterior of the building in terms of if you have to put plastering, cementing, and then you get interior where you look at, I imagine it to be the business actually entails placing furnitures in the right places, putting the flower vase in the right places, the pictures and all that.
That's the decorative
Okay, that's the decorative aspect of it. Okay.
We have the designing and we have the decorative aspects when we bring in furnitures, the vases, the ornaments, and all those things. So the decorative aspect is, a designer can decorate.
True.
But a decorator cannot design.
I like that.
Yes.
That's a distinguishing element.
That's the distinguishing element.
Separates the professionalism of the job from that which can be seen as technical in one way or the other.
Exactly.
One entails a lot in terms of mental capacity, creative capacity.
Exactly.
While the other one, you still have those elements in it, but it's not as pronounced.
Not as pronounced, exactly. That's it.
All right. So if a man or a woman wants to get into exterior designing business, do you need to have a qualification in terms of you have to go through a school, register in an association, or what exactly does
Yes. In the past, it wasn't so, but in the last few years, we rather consider it because we believe that things, we're in a dynamic world.
We are.
And things are changing. There are some different types of remodeling. We have different types of decorations. We have different types of designs. And for you to bring technology in, you need to go to the university.
Fantastic.
Apart from the university, we also have some courses that you can take There are some very few places where you can take courses that relates to this industry.
Is there an association here in Nigeria?
Oh,
you have an association.
Oh, there's
here
an
in
association.
Nigeria?
Yes, there's an association. So you need to go through that. Why? Because we want professional delivery. There are so many people who go into this business, into this industry, that don't really know too much about it, and they mess things up. But that's the reason why we don't just want people to just say, oh, I'm a decorator, I'm a designer. Anyway, you just can't call yourself a designer. It starts little. It actually starts with decoration. So this business or this industry evolves.
Good.
You actually start by maybe from the decoration level, and then you might now graduate to the level of designing and then also decorating.
Because you're looking at big contracts, as a matter of fact. Somebody can gain a contract to do the interior, exterior decor, designing of real estate, as the case might be.
Yeah.
And you have several blocks of accommodations or structures, as the case might be. And then it's part of your responsibility or the task to be able to do that. Because you had mentioned that it's a teamwork. You have the structural engineers, you have the carpenters, the electricians. So what we imagine that even depicts an idea of what a contractor is about. But obviously there's a difference from being a contractor and being an exterior designer.
Yeah, as an interior designer, you are also a contractor.
Okay.
Yeah, because you are there's a contract between you and your clients, and then your client consults you, contacts you, and says, "Oh, okay, I have this job, and I want you to handle it." So at that moment, when something strikes between both of you, there's a contract.
There is.
So you become a contractor.
That's true.
You understand, and so you can't rule out the fact that a contract is signed between the two parties. Because
somebody will imagine that oftentimes when you hear the words a contractor, you imagine that it has to be an engineer or a technically oriented person.
Oh, not necessarily.
But that doesn't necessarily suffice
not
in this
necessarily.
regard. Okay, we're going to go on a short break, viewers. As soon as we're back, a short commercial break. As soon as we're back, we are going to continue the conversation on this wonderfully lucrative business called interior and exterior designing. Please stay tuned. Alright, you're welcome back. If you've just joined us, I'm in the studio with Flora Eyimife, and we're looking at interior exterior designing as a lucrative business engagement or enterprise here in Nigeria. And so, madam, if we look at a business in that particular industry, do we need a license to be able to kick off? What are the requirements for any new business coming into that space that business ought to have in order for it to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are there? And is it not a crowded industry already as it is?
The market is huge. It looks like it's crowded, but everybody have their own markets. The market is huge. And then the demands are also high. So everyone is in business and they're doing business.
How long have you been in this nature kind of business?
I've been in this business for over 30 years now.
Sorry?
Over 30 years now.
30 years?
Yes.
That's quite some time. So the business must be doing something, you must be doing something right, or the business must obviously also be, it's a mutually beneficial relationship here.
Oh yeah, because if you are in business, you're in business to first of all solve a problem. You have a problem, you identify a problem, and you want to solve it, and you have what it takes to solve that problem. So that is how it starts. So you have a solution to a particular issue or problem that you have identified, and you are bringing something to the table, to solve that problem. So in the process of doing that, initially it starts with just solving problem. You may not necessarily make much profit at the initial stage.
True.
But as time goes on, when you begin to get known based on your brand and your unique selling point, automatically it comes to a point where you are no longer, you're no longer necessarily advertising so much, but your job is advertising you.
True.
Because you have been able to create a value that people see and they want to identify with.
True.
Yeah, so the business is lucrative. At the initial stage, it is not necessarily very, very lucrative.
True.
But as you grow,
You find that a lot of the opportunities actually dwell in.
Exactly.
Do I need a license to be able to?
Oh, you do.
Okay, so for anyone who is out there listening, might be interested in interior exterior designing business.
Yeah.
You actually need a license to be able to do that.
There are people who do it without license, on a small scale. But if you want to do it on a large scale, of course you do it. Like for instance, if you give me the opportunity of renovating this place, you know, or you give somebody an opportunity, the person has to have a license, because you will make a demand on certain things, you know. So you can't just walk into a conglomerate or one big organization and you say you want to. There are certain things you have to present.
Fantastic.
Yes, there are certain things you must present. And then at a large scale, somebody who is not licensed cannot do a very, very big project, you know. So, but if you're not licensed, of course you can do some tiny, you know, maybe
just to stay above water and then do. But so, as a matter of fact, one looked at some other time we had an edition on the program where we looked at regulatory compliance, and when we imagined that the interior exterior designing space will also entail concerns for HSE, health security, and health security, the environment concerns, so to speak. And so, if we look at that sector, are there regulatory compliance issues or demands that have been laid on the practitioners of interior exterior designing business here in Nigeria?
Oh yeah, there are.
Yes. Okay.
There are. So it's important that we make sure we comply with all the rules and regulations, even though sometimes the government policy is not very favorable at that point. You know, sometimes you have to, you know, like for instance, when you want to bring in, they consider some of these things as contraband. You understand? And there are regulations that are not very, very easy to comply with, but you have to. You just have to. Yes, because they'll come after you if you don't. So we need to, as much as possible, make sure that these things are in place before we, you know, so that they don't come after us.
Run foul of the regulations.
Yes.
So what you mentioned right now created an image in my mind that for particular projects that one might be marking on, a lot of the raw materials are actually sourced abroad, or are they majorly from within Nigeria?
For decoration.
Because right now we are looking at everything we need to do to boost our naira, you know, and I imagine that you mentioned earlier on that there is a huge contribution to the GDP from this particular segment of the Nigerian industrial players, so to speak. And if you are going to focus more on your raw materials sourced from abroad, then perhaps you're not helping with our naira. But how do you respond to that?
For designing, all materials are usually, you know, sourced locally.
Fantastic.
Yeah, for Dangote has cement. We use a lot of cement for our work. We use a lot of iron. We use a lot of plumbing. Okay, the plumbing materials are not here. Of course, they are imported. So, yes, we use all of those things. But in the area of decoration, that's where the problem actually lies.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of the things we use for decoration are not local. We have some local ones, yes, that we use, like furniture. We do our furniture, we do, you know, but even this you have here, it's not local.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's not local. So most of our products come from Turkey, China.
China is actually a wonderful trade partner with Nigeria. So a lot of times they have a very booming manufacturing segment of their economy. So you can imagine, but we are not thriving with the manufacturing sector. Why won't a table like this be manufactured here in Nigeria, that it has to be imported?
If it has to be manufactured in Nigeria, the cost of production will be higher.
Will be high, because I hope that the government of the day will address the issue of energy. If we're able to deal with that,
exactly.
You can imagine. I mean, a lot of businesses rather want to bring it down here, manufacture, and then expand to the West African market, which we actually have as a result of AFTA that is on ground, as the case might be. So, so I would imagine for some of those projects, it's one of the things that, will I say, the hurdles you have to be able to scale in order for you to deliver to
the hurdles are huge. The hurdles are huge.
The look on your face shows the fact that it is not a laughing matter. But I mean, it has to be something that one has to still
scale. But you just have to, because to stay afloat in business in Nigeria, you must be strong.
Okay, that's true.
You must be ready to weather the storm, however it comes, because it is not friendly.
We hope perhaps that with all the contribution from government, the policy and environment, we might have to address that. But unfortunately, we've run out of time on Business Matters. And this has been a very entertaining, engaging, very insightful, very educative interview for me. I didn't know. I think I might have to discuss with you after we're off air to see what I have to do to get into the exterior designing business. I mean, there are opportunities out there. A 30 billion more or less industry, that's quite huge.
Oh, it is.
It's quite huge.
It is.
I mean, I want to say a big thank you, madam, for being with us as a guest. We hope perhaps in the future when we invite you, you will honor our invitation as you did today.
Very much well, if I am available, of course.
Thank you so very much.
I've become part of the family already.
You're welcome. All right, viewers, that's so much we can take on this segment of our program. Please stay tuned after this short break. Business Matters continues. The exterior designing business is a very lucrative one. For one, I think I might have to explore that aspect as another source of revenue to manage our affairs in this country. There's so much we can do in this country because we are talented, we are creative, and we are blessed. Even though we have some of those hurdles that we have to scale as business owners, we can be rest assured, just like Madam Flora has been successful for 30 years, we too can be successful. Until I come your way again, this is so much we can bring to you. My name remains Stephen Ipalabo Lawson. Bye-bye for now.